Yo, what's good? Today, I am getting the chance to listen to Opeth's new album, The Last Will and Testament, for the first time. I'm a massive fucking Opeth fan. I love them to death. So I'm really excited to hear this. I'm a couple weeks late, just life got in the way. I haven't been able to film this video, so I'm very excited to hear it. I've heard mixed reviews, but I want to go in with an open mind. Some people that I know have said that it's a little bit goofy, a little bit too silly conceptually, and maybe the music as well. I don't know. But then I've also heard other people say it's an absolute masterpiece. So I guess we'll find out what it's like. Full transparency, I've heard the first song S1, paragraph 1, however you want to say it, and I've heard the other single, which I think was S3. I'm just gonna say S, because it's so much easier. But yeah, I'm excited to hear it. So thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope the album is good. Alright, we're back. We've moved over to beanbag camera. So yeah, let's get right into that shit. Starting with the footsteps, of course. Martin Mendez on the bass, killing it as per usual. This song is groovy as hell. Like I said before, I'm already familiar with the song. I just love everything that's going around. Lots of soundscape stuff. We've got the lead guitar on the right. Seems like a synth on the left. Heavy guitars come in. Bit of a different tone for Opeth. Guitar tone. New drummer as well. I don't remember his name. Is it Watery or something? Sorry if it's so off, but he sounds really good, and I've heard some of their live performances, and they sound so tight with him. He's breathing a new life into the band, really. Into the house. So good. The growls are back, baby. Yeah, this track is a banger for sure. Just realized I wasn't full screen on the album cover this whole time, so apologies, that's gonna look like shit. This is like the best part of the song, I think. Really in chord of Venom, for sure. Different sound, same line on the left. Some clocks. Or a clock, I guess. Reminds me of Pink Floyd, Time. Nice. There's some weird chords going on there. That vocal line reminds me a lot of Dignity off of In Court of Venom. The end riff, if you know what I'm talking about. Cool, like, sus chord resolution going on there. I love that line. Guide my children through my trials. Frederick, ripping it, as per usual. Ooh, good feel. Probably a good time to talk about the concept of the album, being the Last Will and Testament. I've heard Michael say that the lyrics have been written as if it was just being read out to the family of whichever father figure this is. Very curious to see how the story goes in context of the whole album. So I think this first song does a pretty good job of setting up that story, because I get the idea just from hearing this song. Yeah, tell him, Michael. I haven't heard this a little bit. Must have not been in the single release. Gorgeous. Ooh. This is really good. Love this. What instruments are these? I'm not sure. I'm also curious to know if they're real or if it's VST MIDI stuff. It sounds real, but you never know. It's starting to get much more full. Bringing back the talking. Ooh. And it transitions right into the next track. We'll get into that. I want to talk about that a little bit. So that first track, I really love it, actually. I like it much more than the third single, or at least, you know, right off the gate, I enjoyed it more. So we'll see how I'm feeling when I hear it next. But there's a lot of stuff going on. It establishes the whole sound of the record. So we've got slightly weirder, distorted guitar sound, a bit more metal than it's been the past couple albums, ever since they transitioned to their more prog rock sound. I think the guitar tones have been a bit more like neck pickup, a bit bassier, but less gain. Obviously because it's less metal, but it seems they've brought that sound back, which is, you know, pretty fitting considering that they've also brought back the growls, which haven't been around since Watershed, which has been many years, maybe 15, 16, maybe even longer, maybe nearing 20. Which is interesting considering that Michael for a long time talked about how they were just completely done with that and how he doesn't listen to a lot of metal. But in interviews I've seen regarding Last Will and Testament, he's said that bringing back the growls was partly because he thought it fit the sound. I think, I might be wrong, but I think he said that the growls are supposed to be the father, like giving a voice to that character. But he's also said that he thought the growls, it would be perfect time to bring them back because we've all lost hope that they'd ever be back. So say what you will about that. It's a little bit silly, in my opinion. But fair enough, whatever, you do you, Michael. I'm glad that they're back. They sound pretty good. They sound just like they did in Watershed, except the production's a little bit different. They're really in your face in the mix here. Sounds really good. Really enjoying it. But yeah, lots of different things. Lots of the synth stuff from In Court of Venom. The vibes are so like that. But then when they go a bit heavier, it reminds me of Watershed. It's like those two albums had a baby. And the story going on, the concept is really cool, with a father who seems to have had some dark family secrets that in this reading of his last will and testament are being revealed to the family. I'm not sure how they're going to expand on it in this next song, but yeah, all right, let's just get into it. This is paragraph 2, or S2. Bit of a wobbly synth sound going on here. Kind of a pad. Was that like a flanger? Oh, damn! bit of a groove to it. Quiet it down. Ooh. Daughter. Get that major chord progression, but it's a little bit weird, not quite right. Very Opeth. Is that a vocoder? Or is it just harmonies? Can't tell. Production's pretty good. It's pretty tight.
The word of Christ tells us to forgive transgressions. It is through him we can distinguish right from
This is weird, I like it. Got Michael singing on the left. Is that Michael? That's high as hell. That's way out of his range. And we had some talking on the right. I'm not quite catching the lyrics. Oh, that's cool, man. This is sick. Oh yeah, bring it right back. Keyboard's gone crazy. Back to that intro riff. Really nice wall of sound going on right now. Ooh, damn, this is heavy, man. Ooh, that was a weird thing going on. Fading out. Reminds me of the Moor. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. Ooh, that's a lovely synth sound. So warm. This song is really cool so far. Ooh, major resolve. Is this the same section as before, but with a new arrangement? Sounds similar, but a little bit different. Like the harmony at the back is a little different. Tension. Yep, I think it was. Back to it. The talking's on the left this time. Those vocals on the right. He's doing some pretty intense vibrato. Very choir-like. This is so cool. So much soundscape stuff going on. Ooh, switching it up. Oh, nice. Sister. That vibrato is so in Chord of Venom again. was the end of that one. All right, that was really cool. That was not what I expected. I thought it would go in a little bit more of a chill direction, considering that the opening track was, it wasn't heavy, but it was heavier than what I'm used to from the new stuff. So for it to double down and get even heavier in those verse sections where it kind of had like a triplet, like kind of vibe to it, that was really good. Obviously it's just a first listen, so I haven't captured everything, but that was really cool. Lots of good synth padding going on, same as the first track with the soundscape stuff. There was some spoken word, which was in the first song as well, but it was definitely more prominent here with that bridge sort of chorus. I'm not sure if you could call it a chorus, but where they had like the spoken word in one ear and then Michael's vocals, his like ad-lib stuff in the other ear. That was really cool. There was a cool melody going on in the guitars there as well, but I was a bit focused on those vocals that I missed it. From the little bits that I clued in on, it sounded really good. And then there was that kind of kind of vibe going on with the guitar riff there. Very catchy. That's a bit more akin to the prog rock stuff that they've been doing, which I'm all here for because I love that shit. But yeah, I don't have much more in particular to say on that one. Really good. Now we're going to go into S3 now, which I believe was the second single, so we'll see. Yeah. Now this song has grown on me. I didn't like it too much at the start. That riff reminds me a lot of another riff. I can't put my finger on that. This part's weird. Weird vibe. Doubling the riff with the strings as well as the guitar makes it sound really big and very theatrical. Again, this part I didn't like so much, but now that I've heard it a couple times, I can groove to it. Love his vocals here. Bit of a delay going on the keywords. Pretty classic Opeth groove going on here. Dum 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 dum. His voice sounds so good. He's always had a beautiful voice, but I think he's definitely come into his vocals a bit more in the recent years. If you take a listen to something like Still Life and prior to that, the clean vocals definitely sounded a bit more amateur. Still love him, no disrespect, but he's definitely improved a lot. I love this part, favorite part. Just scratches my brain, just makes me relax. Yes. Doing a lot with this idea. There's lots going on around it. You almost forget about it when the other stuff starts. Masquerade. Just love that word. Sounds good. Using a lot of Phrygian modes in these songs, but especially this one. I don't know if it's Phrygian dominant or just Phrygian. Love that. Pardon me. Frederick going off. He has a particular way of phrasing his solos where he is really technically proficient, but it's also very fluid. It's hard to explain. Very good. This part reminds me of, I think it's a song off My Arms, Your Hearse, one of the ones later in the album. It starts with a C. Can't remember the name of it. It has a similar progression. That tritone. Boom. Flat 5-1. So classic Opeth. Sounds awesome. Very evil, very dark. It's like it just washes over me. That vibrato on his voice is so good. Can you hear like a choir pad? Heard that in the song. Woo. A very weird progression. This kind of came out of nowhere. Alright, cool. That one's done then. Alright, so that was S3. Again, a bit more of a grower for me. I enjoyed it though. There's a couple key standout moments there, like the verse with his kind of weird syncopated vocal pattern going on. That shit is awesome, as well as the production. The production is just solid across all of them so far. Loving the synth pad work as I was in the other ones. What else is going on there? In that last part, like I was mentioning, that other song from Opeth in My Arms Your Hearse with a similar like tritone acoustic chord progression. Very cool, classic Opeth. I love that section, and I love the part where they pull it back right towards the end and they just wash over you with vocals and synths. It just sounds so good, so warm. But there's a couple parts in this song that don't stick with me quite as much, like the beginning. I think it goes like it's something like that. That part's cool. I can appreciate it, but it's not quite the sound that appeals to me, which is fine, obviously. But yeah, overall this track's not as good as the other two, but it's still pretty solid. I'd probably give that like a 6 out of 10, whereas the first track is like an 8, and I don't think I've heard the second track enough to give it a rating. We'll see how it goes. On to S4. Oh, yes, love it. Weird melody, very atonal. Or maybe it's just chromatic, just going all over the place. But that driving bass and drums. Ooh. Oh, I love that vocal melody. Oh, cool in response. Growls. Oh! Ghost Reveries, is that you? Loving this quality of his growls here. It just says that they go away. I think they're doubling that vocal melody with synth. Ooh. Oh, that sounded evil. Oh, gorgeous. Oh. Oh, beautiful. Oh, yes. I love this. This reminds me of just some pretty classic medieval folk music. It's the textures of the instruments. All the drums very softly in the background. Production is just on point. Oh, leg grab. We got flutes in here. Who's the guy who's doing the spoken word and the flute stuff? Is it King Crimson? I don't know. Don't kill me. I think his name is Wes. Not familiar. Oh, this part is just such a wall of sound. What a vibe. I'm just locked in. Awesome. I wonder if this is Michael soloing. I haven't mentioned, but the new drummer is going off. He's perfect. He's playing technically, but also perfect for the song. Yeah. His growls haven't sounded this good in so long. I'm so happy. This is brutal. Just as I get comfortable to change it up. Love that. Ooh. Little side stick stuff. Ooh. The drums here are so ambient. Ooh. I think this might be a part from earlier in the song, but a little bit different texturally. That seems to be a theme, a trend. Keeping the same parts but switching them up sonically so that it doesn't become stale. Ooh. Very interesting riff. Double bass going on. I'm noticing some pretty subtle cymbal work going on from the drummer. This part is just easy to lock into. I don't have to think too much. Love the switch ups. This is very eerie. I'm not following the lyrics, but something just happened, or something spooky is coming. Ooh. That one goes straight into the next track. So that was pretty good. That one, it may be because it's kind of partway through the album, and I might be getting a little bit fatigued, possibly, but that one didn't stand out to me quite as much as the other ones did. Still good, still definitely a completely solid track, but not as standout. But also the doubles, the other end of that spectrum is that none of it was bad. Nothing stood out as, oh, don't like that. Still really good, still production is just on point. Lots of synth stuff going on. Not as many switch ups in that song. There was a pretty distinct couple sections in there that I could just groove out to and not have to be paying too much attention to on a first listen, which I appreciate. I appreciate knowing when to pull back. Some interesting vocal stuff going on. The growls in towards the start, I think it was somewhere about a quarter way through, where he has some pretty rhythmic lines going on. Reminded me a lot of Ghost Reveries, where instead of relying too much on like just big long screams, he would do very like punchy, like right in your face lines. And I loved that. That sounded really good. His growls sound amazing. They've been a bit lacking the past couple of years live. Obviously he has stopped doing them, so I guess he's out of practice. But then here, he's sounding absolutely excellent. Maybe even better than he did on Watershed. Don't shoot me, Watershed fans, but yeah, the growls are sounding really good. The clean vocals here were a little bit weird. There was a lot more production stuff going on. It was very super reverberated, lots of like layers going on. Sounded really cool, but might be something I'll appreciate more on the following listens. Yeah, don't have much more to say on that one. Let's get into track 5. Which once again goes straight into it from the previous track. Ooh. I was just about to say it's very soft. Ooh. It's like doing chugs with acoustic guitar. That's a really interesting texture. I love the backup vocals. Again, vocoder possibly? They don't sound quite natural. It's the same groove as the Suffocate Knocked Loose breakdown, if you know, you know. Oh, yes. Actually, now that I'm hearing it, there's not been as much acoustic guitar stuff in this record. I'm glad to hear it. I'm loving this. This might be my favorite so far. Oh, yes, cool. This one's a journey. Again with the Phrygian mode. Such a good sound. This lead guitar is so warm. I wonder what guitar it is. I heard that the rhythm guitars have been Telecasters this time. Oh, digga-digga-dum. Oh, this is a good riff. Oh, groovy. pedal it back. We're either gonna get filthy heavy or it's gonna be beautiful. Which one is it? That's interesting vocal production. Got a low pass going on. It's very like mid sounding. Sonically, not mid as in bad. I feel like I'm in a Mario desert level right now. Pal Communion, is that you? That bass pad. He's making lots of interesting sounds with his growls. They're not just typical. Oh yeah, Frederick, go for it. Ooh. Interesting section to put a solo. As soon as they land into a groove, they switch it up here. Nice. Oh, I love this. I love these parts. These like little interludes. Something's coming though. Breakdown? Whoa. The vocal production is so interesting. Got it over here now. Slowly panning it to the center. Taking over to the left side. They're just doing a lot with the production on the vocals. Just letting us groove a little here. Interesting vocals. Very punchy, very like da ba da da ba ba ba. This is some pretty classic Opeth. I can hear the acoustic guitars strumming away in the background, with the electric ones just chugging away. It's a cool chord progression. You're hitting me with a fade out? When does that happen? Interesting. Is it going to go straight into the next track, or is that not the end? Yep, straight into the next one. All right, well that was really good. Funnily enough, this is actually a bit of an inverse from how I usually feel, but the heavy parts were a little bit subdued when compared to the acoustic sections. Those acoustic sections were beautiful. Lots of interesting Phrygian-based ideas, especially towards the start when he was doing lots of like It sounded like he was doing palm mute chugs, but on acoustic guitar, and it was kind of like do-de-dum, 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 like those kind of intervals. I can't remember the specific melody. But yeah, very cool and very groovy. The drums shined heaps on this track. He was just going off, and it wasn't just like, you know, like usual fucking techie stuff. It's like he had that in him, but it was being subdued in a controlled way, and he was doing lots of ambient stuff with his toms. Obviously, the production helps a lot in that. You know, when it's time to get ambient, you pull up the reverb a lot. But very creative drumming. That's what I'm finding from this whole thing, but especially in that track that shined heaps there. I think the vocals were also really, really interesting. I don't remember any specific melodies. There weren't a lot of hooks in this song, but the vibes were just on the whole time. One thing though, this is just a personal preference, but I'm not usually huge on fade outs. Especially when it just comes out of nowhere like that. Like if it's a big epic song, I think like All the Fools Sailed Away by Dio, or if we're talking Opeth specifically, I think like Face of Melinda, that ends on a super epic fade out, walking off into the sunset. That's different. But for something that just seemingly came out of nowhere, yeah, maybe the idea will return later, maybe justify it a little bit more, but I'm not too big on the fade outs. Just a minor thing though, I'm nitpicking. Still probably my favorite track of the new ones I've heard so far. I still think, granted I've heard S1 many times, so it's got a bit of a bias, I'm familiar with it, but I still think that's might be one of the better tracks. It's just a bit hookier. There seems to be a pretty fundamental lack of hooks going on here. Now I think a thing with prog music is that sometimes you can get too caught up in like just doing lots and having lots of ideas, and that's great. I love that. I got like that ADHD listener brain where if you're doing like one or two things for the whole song, I'm gonna get bored. So I still love it, but I think really like peak goated prog music still has hooks inside the many ideas, and I'm not catching a lot of that here. Well, that's besides the point. It still sounds absolutely excellent. Let's get on with it, and let's go to S6. Interesting texture. What is that? Not sure. This is interesting. Very different vibe-wise. This almost sounds like it could be like a Linkin Park riff if the production was a little different. They're doubling down on it. I didn't think they would stay. Cool, man. Good to hear a brighter chord progression that isn't as dark. I can finally feel some hope, man. Lovely strings. Ooh, everything's going out, just the vocals. Nice. A lot of the stuff around the vocals is just very fluid and very ambient right now. Got the keys coming in. This is solid. Oh yeah. Is that a tritone? I think it is. It doesn't sound as evil as usual though. Damn! Lots of driving riffs. That was weird. I like it. Oh yeah, the drum and bass locking in here. Bum, 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 bum. Oh my god! Keyboard solo, go off! Nice, that was sick. Woo. I think this is Frederick. Going off. Nice. The call and response between the growls and the clean vocals have been really good in all the tracks. He knows when to put the growls in and when not to. Oh, interesting. This part's really cool. A bit in the feels. Oh, what's coming? I'm not sure. Scaling it down again. That sounds really good. Love that guitar in the center. Oh, those acoustic guitars. So sparkly. Oh. This sounds so good. Just makes me want to close my eyes and drift away. So I will. Absolutely gorgeous. This part is such a vibe, man. I love how they were doubling this sound with the acoustic guitar. Is this how they're gonna close it? Oh, dude. Nice. That was gorgeous. The first half of the song I was enjoying, but it didn't like, whoa. But then that part there, that might sell me on the whole song. That was amazing. I loved that. That was such a dreamscape. Like I was doing, it just made me want to lay down and close my eyes and just vibe away. If I was in like a field and I'd had like a couple drinks or something, that would just like send me. Oh, beautiful. I love that. I forgot everything I was going to say about the rest of the track because that was just so gorgeous. So you know what, we're moving on. Track 7, here we go. Oh. Oh. Oh, this is dirty. I love it. Ooh, and now. Eerie. What is that percussion? Is it like a brushed snare?
As part of paragraph 7, I bestow upon you both a number of artifacts of immense personal value to me.
I love the line.
Wearing
Lyrics.
the family crest, I hope they can serve as a reminder of the fragility of heritage.
The futility of heritage. Oh. This is sick. I love that synth with the heavy riff. Weird. Again with the Phrygian. This guy loves the Phrygian mode. I don't blame him, but bruh. This is another Mario Desert level moment.
In essence, worthless. Still, I consider them a token of my innermost sympathy. Pass them on to generations to come.
I'm getting the sense that this main, like, father character is a little bit of a fucking arsehole. Groovy.
Liberation of the wealthy, once perpetually shackled by greed. The wretched, instead, elated and basking in solace.
I'm not entirely sure what he's talking about. I need the context of the other lyrics. Pretty intense syncopation going on here. Lots of solos. I dig it. Oh, this sounds like more classic Frederick. Back to that earlier section with the synth. I love that synth sound, whatever Patchy's got. It sounds like a national anthem. Ooh. This is sick. Lock in, guys. It's like a typical Opeth riff, but the arrangement's a little different. Increasing those layers. The strings sound amazing. Again, it makes me ask, are they real or is it synth? Someone let me know. think I might be impatient, but this part's dragging a little. Come on, hit me. Don't tell me it's a fade out. Oh, it's a fucking fade out. I'm sorry guys, I just don't like fade outs. I'm triggered. Not really. Well, that was a pretty interesting track. That was definitely a bit different from the other ones, I should say. Not quite as memorable. I think that was probably the most average of the lot, but I really liked the spoken word section where he actually mentioned that this is the 7th paragraph. He said, like, paragraph 7, as part of paragraph 7, I'm going to bestow upon you a number of artifacts, I think is what he said. That was just cool. Totally painted a picture in my mind. Yeah, let's move on. Paragraph 8, or section 8, essay, whatever. Too many names. Ooh. Oh, this one's called A Story Never Told. This must be the final track. Love it already. That major 7. There's like a very subtle tremolo sound on this. Ooh, beautiful. Where are you gonna go with that? Love it. I wonder if this will be instrumental. Like an epilogue. Ooh. Never mind. That's the name of the song, guys. Thanks for watching. Kind of victorious sounding. They play around with lots of minor and major changes in this album. It's kind of a winding chord progression.
There's a road that leads to home and stories never told.
Interesting line. There's a road that leads to nowhere, to home, and to stories never told. Kind of implies a lot, doesn't it? You never know what people hold behind closed doors. This reminds me a lot of Continuum off of In Court of Venom. Nice. Again, vocal production is all on the left side here.
A story never told.
Building upon the melody.
Man's withered heart don't hold. Sarah's wears a stranger's eyes.
Oh, where you going with it now? This is the same progression. No vocals. Oh. Modulated up? Was that a semitone or a tone? Can't tell. It's the same progression, but it's slightly different, I think. So this is the perfect kind of progression to solo over. Lots of harmony. Really weird texture on this guitar. It almost sounds like a synth. Don't fucking tell me they're gonna fade out the last song on a solo. Please, Michael, I beg of you. They're gonna fade it out. Ooh. He's still ripping though. It is gorgeous, I must admit. Damn. Wow. So that's the end of that, huh? Well, shit. The Last Will and Testament, everybody. What an interesting album. It's definitely one that's gonna be needing re-listens before I can have my true opinions on it. But that last song, A Story Never Told, that was beautiful. Definitely an epilogue track. I think there was only one line that he just repeated a bunch. I believe I pointed out before, what was it? It was something like the path that leads to home and untold stories, something like that. There's a lot to imply there. I suppose with the context of the previous lyrics, it might make more sense. That's what an album! What an album! That was interesting. Quite a few standout moments, but I don't know if there was a standout track for me. If I had to pick one off the top of my head, probably the 5th track, because I had that absolutely fucking gorgeous outro section. Might have been the 6th track, can't remember, you guys tell me. Yeah, so much going on, very progressive, lots of ideas, lots of different melodies, but it all kind of fit the same sort of theme. I kept bringing it up, like sounded like a broken record, but they were reusing lots of Phrygian modal ideas, which has a very particular sound to it, and maybe they overdid it a little bit. There are other scales and other modes, my guys, but that's just me being a prog nerd. Lots of heavy riffs, surprisingly. I wasn't expecting them to lean into the actual heavy riffs as much. I thought they were just going to have some growls and here and there, but he actually was doing it a lot. Lots of call and response between his cleans and his growls, which I really appreciated. It sounds really good. It's a really good way to mix it up. No verse, well, maybe a couple, but on the whole, none of the verses were like strictly clean or strictly growls. He'd do quite a bit of back and forth stuff. There was heaps of guitar solos. Most of them were Frederick, but I think there was a couple Michael solos. Frederick is obviously the guy who's doing all the shred, but Michael's got some absolutely beautiful, soulful, bluesy kind of solos in a lot of the previous albums, so I'm sure there was at least one in there that was his, but I guess we'll find out when we watch it live. What else? The drums, absolutely on point the whole time. Super tight, reminds me a lot of the OG drummer, not the original guy. I'm struggling to remember his name. The one who played in all the classic albums. I'm sorry, Opeth stands, forgive me, I'm forgetting the name. But he reminds me of him, where in the sense that he knew when to ham it up with some big fills and some techie stuff, but he also knew when to pull it back and to just have some really tasty, soulful licks going on. The drums were perfect and very creative in some moments. I think it was track 4 or track 5 where the drums got a lot of time to shine. It was very cool, very gorgeous. The bass had a bit of an interesting tone to it this time around. I think it's a little bit more mid-heavy than it has been in the past. Not a lot of parts that stood out to me as much as they have in the past, but he always shined in the intros of these songs before they like really blew up. But yeah, overall I'd probably give it like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. I think the songs themselves were maybe a little bit less memorable, but like I've been saying, I might feel different after a couple more listens, but on a first impression, a lot of it was a little samey sounding, if I'm being honest. I think I might be mixing up certain parts for different songs unintentionally, just because a lot of it was using similar ideas that weren't quite the same, or a bit different. That final track being the exception, but obviously it's got a title, it's a story never told, it's never logged, that's the point. It's supposed to bookend everything. But yeah, I still really enjoyed it. Love the concept of the lyrics. I'll have to read them later and get a much better understanding of the story, but I love the idea, the concept. Gorgeous album cover. Quick shout out to whoever the artist is. He did a banging job. Well, yeah, I think that's all I've got to say on the album. I'll see you guys at the chair. So hard to get out of this fucking beanbag. Alright, well, if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate the absolute hell out of you. Thank you so much for watching and giving me the time of your day to sit down and listen to this album with me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you made it this far, then please consider subscribing, liking the video and sharing it around. It helps me a lot, and I'd appreciate the hell out of it. Anyway, I won't take up any more of your time. Have a lovely day. I appreciate you. Mwah. Peace out.